So, Brotato has a bunch of different challenges you can do to unlock some of the characters in the game. And one of the hardest ones by far is killing a boss in 15 seconds, or you can kill an elite, but the boss is the easiest way to do it. Once you have completed the challenge, you're going to unlock the character Jack, and when you are playing as Jack, you've got 75% damage against bosses and elites as a buff, and there are also 75% less enemies that spawn in. They have a lot more health, they've got a lot more damage, but you're going to have a lot less to deal with. And in order to kill a boss in 15 seconds, we're going to have to use Cyborg. It's the easiest way I've found to do it. And in order to unlock Cyborg, you need to reach 10 ranged damage and have 3 structures up at the same time. That's very easy to do with someone like the Engineer, and I've also found it quite easy to do with the old character as well. All you've got to do is just pump some points every time you level up into ranged damage. And once you've reached 10, just make sure you've got 3 turrets on the screen at the same time. So if we jump in with Cyborg, we start with a minigun. The ranged damage mods are increased by 250%, but then all of our ranged damage is temporarily converted into engineering halfway through a wave. So we need to try and get some turrets for this, as well as having as much ranged damage as we possibly can. For every 1 ranged damage, we are going to get 2 engineering. Engineering mods are pointless to take, they're reduced by 75%. Melee damage modifications are reduced by 100%, so they do nothing. And also the elemental damage mods are reduced by 100%. So if we jump in with Cyborg, we obviously start with a minigun. We're going to take a revolver. The best setup for this, we're going to run on Danger Zero. The best setup for this, in my opinion, is 1 minigun and 5 revolvers. It just works really, really well. So for the first half of the wave, we get a lot of points in range damage. And then the second half, it goes to engineering. So wave 1, nice and easy. And we are going to put our points. If we re-roll, we will grab some... Let's go with some max HP. Because realistically, with this build, you want max HP. You can choose either health regen or lifesteal. I normally go with health regen. Then it'd be nice to get a little bit of damage, although it's not like a primary stat to focus on. But you are going to want to focus on your range damage. You want to get that up as much as you possibly can. Then maybe a couple of points into armor, and that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go with the health to start with. Grab that revolver. Do a nice little re-roll. Take another revolver. And we only need 2 more to have max weapons already. So at the end of wave 2, we're going to grab the range damage. We're taking 1 point, but our range damage actually goes up to 3. So that's going to be really, really helpful. I'm going to grab the revolver. I'm going to lock that lemonade. Then I'm going to do a re-roll. And I'll leave it there because the re-rolls were terrible. So we've gone through another couple of levels, and we've been offered tier 2 shoulders. So we get 2 range damage from it. So the 7 we've got goes up to 14. And I managed to lock up a lens because that's going to give us another lot of range damage. So we're up to 17 now. And we're going to take the white flag to lower the amount of enemies a little bit. And then with the rest we will re-roll. And we are currently looking for things like a revolver. I could take some landmines as well. And I'm also going to grab an alien worm because we've got the lemonade. So we're just going to basically lose the lemonade buff to get 3 max health and health regen. And there we go. After wave 5, we've been offered our very first turret. That's going to be really, really helpful. Because the second half of the wave, that 17 range damage will become 34 engineering. And at the end of wave 7, we've pretty much got the perfect upgrade. 3 range damage. So that's going from 17 up to 28. And I locked a campfire for the health regen. So we'll grab that. And we've also just been given a wrench, which would be really nice for the turret, but we're going to stick to the revolvers. So if I combine these, then by that, we've got 5 tier 2 revolvers at the moment. We're halfway through now, and it's not been very nice to us. We're not getting many good upgrades whatsoever. The thing I'm really looking for is the factory, so that when we destroy a tree, it gives us a turret. That would be really, really helpful. I put a point into luck, like I put an upgrade into luck. And I'm hoping we eventually get it to like pop up in the shop. Because our engineering is getting a little bit higher. And I believe we're on 48. But I've got to try and avoid these because we don't have a lot of health regen. It's 1 per second. And the range damage obviously disappears, so we're not as strong with our guns in the second half of each wave. So there we go. The end of wave 10, we were given 2 range damage, which is nice. And then I'm actually going to take that 3 armor. So our armor's up to 5, which means we now take 25% less damage. And it keeps giving us weapons, which I don't want. Yeah, I'm happy to take the scope because we get range damage and range itself. And it's nice to offer a red, but it's not one that can really be of any use to us. Okay, so we're in the wave 13 shop. And we're now up to all 5 of our revolvers being tier 3. One of them next wave will become tier 4. The damage is at 110. I would like it a little bit higher. I've got a 25% actual damage buff. The range damage is still 138. And pretty much nothing else has really changed. I've taken a couple of items here and there to work on the max health and the health regen. We're now at 1 health every 0.74 seconds. But still not great. But as we get halfway through each wave, the turret is sort of like holding its own if we stay near it. Our guns and the turret working together, like synergizing, is actually wiping all the enemies. It's not been too difficult at all. And our goal with this is to take down the wave 20 boss in less than 15 seconds. You probably can do it faster if you go on a higher danger level, so higher difficulty, and you take down an elite. I think there's 11, 12... And then pretty much any wave from like 11 up to 18, you can get elites or something like that. You could probably do it quicker, but I found this to be the easiest way because you get more time to prepare. But obviously you have to rely a little bit on RNG for your items and stuff, and you've got to hope and pray you can actually survive to wave 20. And then you've got to take down the boss in 15 seconds as well. So that's wave 14 done. I don't even know if we got enough through that to buy the minigun. Or what? No, it was the revolver, wasn't it? 12% damage, so that's gone up to 37. We did get enough, so we can't buy both, unfortunately. I wanted the acid as well. So if I grab that, we've got a tier 4. So the tier 3s are sitting at 121. The tier 4 is at 160. And the cooldown is 0.4 seconds. And on this is 0.38. So not a massive difference, but it's still something. The damage is really, really nice though. And if you really, really wanted to, I mean, it's probably beneficial in some way. If you just get a few % into crit chance as well. Because obviously with these guns, the crits have double the damage. So you'll just take the boss down faster. And your fire rate is rather quick. So even if you've got, I'd say, I don't know, 4 or 5% crit chance, the guns come with a little bit by default, so you'll probably stand a chance of landing a few crits on the boss. And that's an item that's going to come in very, very handy as well, the silver bullet. 25% extra damage against bosses and elites. So we're going to lock that in place until the next wave. And unfortunately, the game never gave me the factory, and I was only ever offered the incendiary turret once with 1 set of landmines as well. Okay, so we're going to grab the silver bullet, and this is the wave 16 shop. It would be nice if the game would help me out a little bit. We've got some landmines, perfect. And then we get the range damage from that, and it's 3 as well, and some crit chance. I'm going to lock that in place, and I'll also lock that for the health regen. We're not worried about the speed at all in this run, purely because we're doing range damage. We don't need to be that fast. And here we go. This is where things get heated. We're coming up to the last 30 seconds, and this is the scariest part of the entire run. Especially when you get them big dudes come in with the red around them, because they really, really hurt. I need some help. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. It's game over. Oh, we've got 15 seconds. I am so scared. I am so scared. I am so scared. I lost it. I had 9 seconds left. You are taking the absolute... This game takes the biscuit. So this goes to show that RNG is such a big factor in this game. The next run, I'm at the Wave 18 shop, and I've had so much better stuff offered to me. I've only got a tier 4 minigun and 5 tier 3s, got no tier 4 revolvers. And if you look at my stats, I actually capped out my max HP at 72. Health regen's at 19, so it's 1.8 health per second. No life steal, 40% extra damage. Range damage is 87. Crit chance is 35%. I've got really, really lucky with the sunglasses. I've taken the sunglasses to build up that crit chance. The range is only 50, the armor is only 5. But we are dealing so much damage. It's 237 for the revolvers, and it's 95 for the minigun. But the turrets that spawn in as well, in the second half of the wave, I know that's not important to the challenge, but it is for survivability to get to the boss wave. When you get to the second half, I've got so many turrets. I've got 2 medical turrets, which are keeping me alive, and in the second half, they're healing for like 11 each. I've got an incendiary turret. I've got 2 normal ones. It gave me extra trees spawning, and every time we kill a tree, we get another turret to spawn. But not only that, it gave me the reason my health is capped. It gave me handcuffs, which gave us 8 ranged damage, which obviously, like, there's 250% on top of that, and then that doubles, so we've got like 170 odd engineering when we get to the second half. But that's exactly why I'm currently alive going into wave 19, and if we start this wave, all of our turrets have actually really nicely piled together, and I've got alien eyes and stuff as well. So this should, a nice tree right in the mix as well. This should almost guarantee that we get to the boss wave. Whether or not we've got enough damage output for a 15-second kill, I'm not entirely sure. We've got a lot of crit chance though. You can see when we're getting crits with the revolver, it's 474. The crits with the minigun are 190. We are absolutely dominating the enemies. If I quickly pause, second half of each wave, the medical turrets are shooting me for 11. The incendiary turret is 63 by 8, and the normal turrets are dealing 150. So they are absolutely obliterating enemies. So I don't think there's any chance we're going to die in wave 19, which is fantastic after the last run. That really stressed me out. We've got a bunch of turrets down in the bottom corner, which is brilliant. Oh, I'm always going to die. That was close. In the end, that was very close. So, what we're going to do is recycle that stuff. And I'm going to take... I'll lose 1% damage. No, I need as much damage as I can going into the final wave. So, we will take... It's not worth losing 2% damage for the attack speed. Come on, something nice. I don't really need that. I'll unlock that. 6 armor, 6 engineering, pointless. Health and health regen. No, none of that's going to help in this fight. That will, but I can't afford it. You are joking. This will, though. An extra 2 range damage and extra range. Although we do attack slower. I'm going to take it for the extra damage. We go from 87 up to 94. So I'm going to click on Endless. Our goal is to take this boss down in 15 seconds or less. And let's get it. You can see the absolute damage. We are battering this boss. Plenty of time. And it's done. That was in 9 seconds. So we had 6 seconds spare. And now we can go on to just finish this wave. Wave 20 will be done because we've got so many turrets and stuff. And that's what I mean. The first run, I wasn't offered the factory. I was barely getting any turrets. I weren't getting offered sunglasses often. I mean, they might have popped up once or twice. I was mainly getting Cyclops Worm. And it's good for damage, but it takes away from your range. And you're a ranged character, and I actually lost on wave 20. But we got the boss taken down in 9 seconds. So we had 6 to spare, and that would be challenge complete. So that's exactly what it looks like. I got quite a bit of health regen and max health. I capped it at 72. 40% damage. I got 35% crit chance. The crit is important, but not really important. Armor was only 5, so not many points in armor, and nothing else you really need to focus on. Your dodge, your speed, they can all be decreased. Your luck doesn't matter. I mean, I would put some points into luck at the start to try and get things like the alloy, the pocket factory, the handcuffs, and maybe even alien magic. The blues and the purples only start spawning in the shop like fairly regularly if you have some luck. So maybe early on get a little bit of luck, but don't worry about it later on. Harvesting, completely irrelevant to anything. Same with like melee damage and elemental damage and stuff. And you'll see that our attack speed was minus 19, so that doesn't really matter either. And that was a guide on how to kill a boss or an elite. You can do an elite if you want to in 15 seconds. I mean, you can at least try it. Just play on a higher danger level so that the elite spawn in, and just try and build up your damage as quick as you can, and then take the elite down. It might be faster for some people, but I've found focusing on getting to wave 20 and taking the boss down, I found that to be a lot more efficient, a lot, actually easier to do, because you've got a longer time to work on your damage and stuff. My first time doing it was 7 seconds to kill the boss, and then that one to showcase it for you guys was 9 seconds. And use the cyborg, fairly easy to unlock, just 10 range damage, having 3 structures at the same time, so engineer, holds, potato, like they're really good characters for it. And upon completing that challenge, you will unlock Jack, who spawns 75% less enemies, even though they're a lot tougher, and they actually deal more damage to you, but also at the same time you're getting a lot more materials drop, and you're dealing so much more damage to bosses and elites. So that is the guide to kill a boss in 15 seconds on Brotato. And on that note, we are going to leave the video there. If you enjoyed it, leaving a like is appreciated. If you wish to support me further as a creator, there are links in the description. Let me know your thoughts about the video in the comments. And if you want to watch more, you can click the video on screen. All support on the channel is greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.